In the cultivation world, a single choice could quietly sever one destiny and give birth to another. What Han Li had taken for a temporary detour became without warning the threshold of an entirely different path. Beneath the calm surface of the royal Serenity Monastery, hidden currents were already stirring treasures yet unrefined, oaths yet unspoken, and fates unknowingly drawn into their orbit. Unaware of how deeply he had stepped into this unseen tide, Han Li crossed the monastery gates with measured steps, believing himself to be merely borrowing time. Yet from that moment on, the rhythm of his cultivation, the direction of his future, and the shadows watching from afar had all begun to shift. And the path he now walked would no longer allow a simple retreat. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating. When these words were spoken, the white-robed youth led teacher Yan and Han Li inside. They followed a winding stone path for a short distance, passing through several courtyards along the way. From within the surrounding halls came the faint rustle of paper and the steady sound of pages turning no different from what one might hear in an ordinary mortal academy. This caused Han Li no small amount of surprise. Though it bore the name of an academy, why would low-grade cultivators squander their time on study rather than devote themselves fully to cultivating qi? Noticing the flicker of doubt in Han Li's eyes, the white-robed youth smiled faintly and explained, "These are disciples of the lower academy engaged in their noon studies. To enter the upper academy, one must possess not only spirit roots, but also the cultivation of noble spirit. Most Confucian cultivation techniques draw upon noble spirit as their foundation. The stronger and more resolute one's noble spirit, the farther one may progress in cultivation, greatly broadening their future prospects." Seeing that teacher Yan had brought along a young cultivator whose cultivation seemed comparable to his own, the youth took the initiative to display goodwill. "So that is how it is," Han Li replied with a courteous smile, returning the gesture. At that moment, the three arrived at an area filled with elegant pavilions. After making several turns, they reached a small and tranquil courtyard. The sounds of turning pages abruptly vanished the instant they stepped inside, evidently blocked by a soundproofing restriction. Teacher Yan showed not the slightest reaction, as though he had visited this place before. As for the white-robed youth, he did not dare to enter. He clasped his hands in farewell outside the courtyard gate and departed. Once the youth disappeared into a nearby pavilion, teacher Yan straightened his robes and, with unhurried steps, approached the largest room within the courtyard. Yet just as he moved forward, a light knock sounded from the door, which opened of its own accord. A calm voice drifted out from within. "Brother Yan, please enter. I was just keeping Nun Hualian of the Royal Serenity Monastery Company. Allow me to introduce you to my brother Yan." The Royal Serenity Monastery. A trace of astonishment flashed across teacher Yan's face, but he did not hesitate. He stepped inside at once, with Han Li following closely behind. The reception room was already occupied by two figures, a man and a woman. The man appeared to be in his 40s, his face thin and sharp, with long flowing facial hair. At a single glance one could tell he was a person of keen intellect and steady composure. The woman seemed to be in her 20s. She wore yellow Taoist robes, her complexion fair and her black hair neatly arranged. Her bearing was dignified and graceful, unmistakably that of a Taoist nun. As teacher Yan and Han Li entered, both individuals swept their gazes over them. Before teacher Yan could speak, the young Taoist nun smiled gently and said, "So this is the renowned teacher Yan Yao, though this humble Taoist seldom concerns herself with worldly affairs. I have long heard of the great reputation of the magnificent Harmony Academy's teacher Yan." Her gaze briefly brushed past Han Li, and she paid him no further attention. Though the woman was only a late foundation establishment cultivator, she appeared entirely calm and unrestrained before senior teacher Lu. It was clear she possessed an extraordinary background. Teacher Yan did not dare show the slightest negligence. He hastily returned her greeting with a salute. "I do not deserve such praise. I too have long heard of your illustrious name. It is an honor to meet you, Nun Hualian." Junior greets the two seniors. Han Li stepped forward half a pace and offered his own salute. Senior teacher Lu blinked once and asked evenly, "And who might this young friend be?" "This is my esteemed nephew," Han teacher Yan replied. "He is a distant blood relative of a close friend of mine. Having heard of the Pure Revelations Academy's reputation, he entreated me to bring him here to see whether he might possess the qualifications to enter as a disciple." Senior teacher Lu studied Han Li for a moment. After a brief silence, he spoke calmly. "Oh, the nephew of Brother Yan's friend. His spirit roots and aptitude appear quite ordinary. Still, let us examine him more carefully. Young friend Han, come here." "Yes, senior." Han Li stepped forward without hesitation and allowed his wrist to fall into the middle-aged man's cold grasp. With his vast spiritual sense, Han Li had no fear of being exposed. Whether it be his spirit roots, elemental attributes, or even his bones, senior teacher Lu would see only what Han Li permitted him to see. Han Li had no intention of drawing undue attention. He merely wished to cultivate quietly within the academy. Thus, he revealed his true aptitude and spirit roots barely meeting the minimum threshold for entering the cultivation world, possessing 4 elemental spirit roots. As for his bones, he concealed their true age, leaving nothing amiss. After completing the examination, senior teacher Lu released Han Li's wrist and spoke indifferently. 4 attribute spirit roots lacking metal. Entering the academy will be difficult. Judging by the magic power within his body, he has already cultivated a few low-grade techniques. Fortunately, his cultivation art is of the pure wood attribute rather than a wicked or devilish path. There are no issues on that front. However, his age is already too great. The likelihood of reaching foundation establishment is almost non-existent. At best, he may reach the 8th layer of chi condensation in this lifetime. In that case, remaining a loose cultivator might grant him greater freedom. Han Li lowered his head, wearing a helpless expression as he spoke earnestly. This junior has heard such evaluations before from other seniors. Even so, I believe that diligence may yet compensate for my shortcomings. I wish to walk the path of cultivation and give it my all. Senior teacher Lu's expression shifted slightly. He glanced at teacher Yan, then nodded. In the face of such resolve, I have nothing further to say. However, since you are a loose cultivator seeking entry into a sect, have you cultivated any techniques in which you are particularly skilled? Han Li was momentarily stunned. He had not expected such a question to be posed to a chi condensation cultivator. Could this be a test on teacher Yan's behalf? His thoughts raced, but he replied without hesitation. This junior has dabbled somewhat in the Tao of tool refinement. However, with my limited cultivation and experience, I have only refined a few of the most basic tools. It can hardly be considered true tool refinement. As he spoke, Han Li deliberately displayed an embarrassed expression. "Oh," senior teacher Lu raised his brows slightly. "You understand tool refinement. Very few wandering cultivators learn such techniques. They demand a great deal of time and effort." At these words, a curious glint appeared in the Taoist nun's eyes. "I merely acquired a jade slip on tool refinement and practiced casually," Han Li said modestly, downplaying his abilities as much as possible. Revealing even this much would already influence his chances of entry. To display true skill would only invite unnecessary trouble. Compared to tool refinement, pill refinement and formation arts were even rarer. Mentioning those would be far too conspicuous. Fellow Taoist Han understands tool refinement, Nern Hualian said with a soft smile. That is most fortunate. Senior Lu, it seems I will no longer need to borrow any tool refinement disciples from your academy. Since fellow Taoist Han has yet to enter the sect, how about he joins the Royal Serenity Monastery instead? Her words struck like thunder. Both Han Li and Teacher Yan were taken completely by surprise. Teacher Yan could not help but speak sternly. Nun Hualian, this is inappropriate. Your monastery is for nuns. How can a man like Han Li enter? Nun Hualian merely smiled, lips curved gently. Though the Royal Serenity Monastery is primarily a female institution, there are several fire attribute Taoist priests and male cultivators within our sect. They reside outside the monastery proper, so there is no cause for Teacher Yan's concern. So that is the case. Teacher Yan hesitated, then shook his head. It seems my understanding of the Royal Serenity Monastery was too shallow. However, my nephew Han wishes to enter the Pure Revelations Academy. It would still be inappropriate for him to join your sect, despite knowing full well that the woman before him was far beyond his own standing. Teacher Yan still chose to press the matter. Unbothered Nun Hualian explained patiently, with fellow Taoist Han's aptitude, even if he were to enter your academy, he would remain an ordinary disciple with little future. My sect, however, is preparing to refine many treasures and is currently lacking a low-grade disciple knowledgeable in tool refinement. If he is willing to join us, his tool refinement skills will improve rapidly, and I will personally ensure that his cultivation is attended to. I will not conceal this from you, Teacher Yan. I originally came to borrow a tool refinement disciple from the academy. Now that one has appeared before me, there is no need to trouble fellow Taoist Lu. Teacher Yan hesitated, then turned to Senior Teacher Lu. Brother Lu, what is your opinion? Senior Teacher Lu replied calmly, his voice deep and steady. Young friend Han has yet to formally enter the academy and thus remains free to choose his path. Whether he joins the Royal Serenity Monastery or the academy is entirely up to him. As Nun Hualian has said, even if he enters the academy, I can offer him little assistance. Since she seeks a low-grade tool refinement disciple, joining the monastery is by no means a poor choice. With those words, all three gazes in the room turned toward Han Li, some tinged with concern, others with curiosity, and even a hint of anticipation. Royal Serenity Monastery, Han Li murmured inwardly. He recalled it as a Taoist monastery located on Jadefield Mountain. Yet he had never known it to be a female sect, nor did he know much about it at all. For the first time, he found himself truly at a loss. Nun Hualian's offer threw Han Li's carefully laid plans into complete disarray. He knew nothing of this sect, its customs, its inner workings, nor whether it would suit him better than the Pure Revelations Academy. Worse still, if he were to reject such a seemingly generous offer only to insist on entering the academy regardless, he feared it would arouse Senior Teacher Lu's suspicion. With no way out, Han Li could only curse inwardly, his gaze flickering toward Nun Hualian as irritation churned in his heart. Senior Hualian Han Li finally spoke, choosing his words with care. I will be frank. I know very little about the Royal Serenity Monastery. Moreover, since it is a female monastery, I fear it may not be particularly accommodating in terms of cultivation methods and techniques suitable for male cultivators. As his thoughts raced, he finally grasped at what seemed to be a legitimate objection. Nun Hualian merely smiled, her expression unperturbed. So that is Junior Han's concern. You need not worry. The Royal Serenity Monastery is but one branch of the three Royals Monastery. Our counterpart, the Royal Yang Monastery, serves as the male branch. Naturally, there will be no shortage of cultivation techniques suitable for men. Her gaze sharpened slightly as she continued, I have also observed that your body lacks noble spirit qi. If you were to enter the Pure Revelations Academy, you would first have to cultivate this new form of qi, making the early stages far more arduous. In contrast, our cultivation methods would be much easier for you to grasp. Of course, should one fully cultivate Confucian techniques to completion, their abilities may surpass those of Taoist paths, but that is far too distant a matter for fellow Taoist Han to concern himself with at present. She paused briefly, then added lightly, Or could it be that you believe the Royal Serenity Monastery to be beneath you? Senior Teacher Lu calmly followed up, his voice even and measured. Fellow Taoist Hualian speaks reasonably. Confucian techniques progress slowly at the outset, slower even than Buddhist cultivation. Young friend Han, from my perspective, the Royal Serenity Monastery is the more suitable choice. Since fellow Taoist Hualian is willing to personally look after you, you may even have a chance of achieving foundation establishment if you accept her offer. Han Li was left utterly speechless. It seemed there was no longer any path that did not require him to deviate from his original plan. Fortunately, the royal Serenity Monastery also drew upon the spirit veins of Jadefield Mountain. So long as he acted cautiously, nothing out of the ordinary should occur. Resigned to his misfortune, Han Li forced an expression of excitement and spoke. Since both seniors have recommended this opportunity, it must indeed be a good one. I am willing to accept. Upon hearing this, Nun Hualian nodded in satisfaction, while senior teacher Lu smiled faintly. Teacher Yan, though clearly disappointed, could offer no objection. With the matter settled, the four conversed for a while longer. Yet instead of discussing the wonders and dangers of the cultivation world, the topic drifted toward recent developments within the Great Jin imperial court, much to Han Li's bewilderment. That Confucian sects concerned themselves with mortal politics was not surprising, given their deep ties to the secular world. What puzzled him was Nun Hualian's apparent interest in such matters. Could it be that the Royal Serenity Monastery too was entangled with worldly affairs? As these thoughts turned over in his mind, the sound of footsteps approached from outside. A youthful voice announced, reporting to martial ancestor. As ordered, I have retrieved the purple essence copper from the storehouse. Oh, bring it in, senior teacher Lu replied without hesitation. Purple essence copper. Han Li's heart stirred. This was a supreme material for refining top-grade magic tools and treasures. Though it held little value for him personally, it was undoubtedly an object of great rarity in the eyes of those present. As he pondered this, the doors opened, revealing a fair-skinned boy of about 12. He entered carrying a large crimson tray covered by a silver cloth that bulged slightly beneath. With utmost respect, he placed the tray upon the table before Nun Hualian and senior teacher Lu. Senior teacher Lu cast the boy a brief glance. You may leave. There is no need to remain. The boy acknowledged the order with a deep bow and quickly withdrew. Senior teacher Lu then passed the tray to Nun Hualian, smiling faintly. Fellow Taoist Hualian, this is the purple essence copper we are lending you. Your monastery has searched everywhere for this material, so it seems you truly intend to refine a precious treasure. Might it be a top-grade magic tool or even a magic treasure? Nun Hualian hesitated, then replied apologetically, That matter is unclear to me. I am merely following the orders of fourth senior Nun. If senior wishes to know more, it would be best to ask her directly. She would surely tell you the truth. At the mention of fourth senior Nun senior teacher, Lu's expression shifted subtly before he let out a light chuckle. There is no need. It was merely idle curiosity. Nun Hualian smiled and lifted the cloth, revealing a pile of golden stones suffused with a faint purple glow. Delight flickered across her face. After offering her thanks, she swept the materials into her storage pouch in a flash of light. Her purpose fulfilled, Nun Hualian exchanged a few more polite words with senior teacher Lu before taking her leave. He did not urge her to stay and promptly summoned the boy to guide her out of the academy. Han Li bade his farewells as well and followed after her. Once the two had departed, silence settled over the hall. Teacher Yan and senior teacher Lu remained seated, gazing at one another without speaking. Teacher Yan's expression in particular was heavy with unease. At last, senior teacher Lu broke the silence, his tone cold and devoid of emotion. How go your preparations? To deal with that monster New Tiande, I must rely on my essence-joined devouring arts. Now that we are at the final stage, have you developed any second thoughts about relinquishing your life? Teacher Yan's face darkened. He snorted coldly. So long as I can avenge the annihilation of my clan, what does a single life matter? My only concern is that once you complete your cultivation, you may hesitate to provoke that old devil, fearing his ferocious flames. At the memory of his family, he clenched his fists tightly, his nails biting deep into his palms. Senior teacher Lu was not angered. He replied calmly, Hehe, why does brother Yan doubt me so? Did I not already say that once you assist me, I will inherit your noble spirit? Qi imbued with your resentment. If I fail to eliminate New Tiande, this qi will eventually become unusable. To preserve it, I must kill him. He paused, then continued, besides, Does Brother Yan believe there is anyone else willing to help you slay this wretch, someone unafraid of retaliation? From the Black Yang sect. Teacher Yan fell silent for a moment before answering, "You speak the truth. Though I have tried to make friends with cultivators over the years, none possess cultivation or abilities comparable to yours. Only you are willing to help avenge my family. It is not that others are incapable, but none wish to provoke one of the 10 great devil Dao sects on behalf of a mere mortal." Naturally, senior teacher Lu sighed. New Tiande is an external affairs enforcer of the Black Yang sect. What small sect would dare provoke them? Confucian sects like ours have always stood opposed to the devil Dao. There is no fear of worsened relations. Over the past 5 years, I have agreed to all of your requests. Does this not demonstrate my sincerity? Teacher Yan's gaze turned icy as he stared at senior teacher Lu in silence. Seeing that he would not relent, senior teacher Lu let out a wry smile. Very well. To set Brother Yan's heart at ease, I am willing to swear a heartlock oath before the portrait of our noble sage. Should I fail to fulfill my vow, my noble spirit, Qi shall never advance another step. Teacher Yan released a long breath. His brow twitched before he finally said stiffly, "Good. That will suffice. Then do not hesitate to use this body to aid your cultivation. It is not that I distrust Brother Lu, but as the sole survivor of the Yan clan, I cannot afford carelessness." Senior teacher Lu waved a hand dismissively. "I understand. The cultivation will commence in 1 month. Please make your funeral arrangements before returning to the academy." Teacher Yan nodded and silence once more filled the room. After a moment he spoke again. "One more thing. Why did that nun of the Royal Serenity Monastery insist on taking Han Li away? Did the academy not wish to accept another tool refinement disciple?" Senior teacher Lu smiled casually. "I merely took advantage of the situation. The treasure the Royal Serenity Monastery is refining is of great importance, and they lack even subordinates to assist in material refinement. Though our academy could lend disciples, we cannot be certain what they would be subjected to. With the appearance of young friend Han, their request was fulfilled without burdening the sect." Teacher Yan nodded thoughtfully and let the matter drop. Meanwhile, Nun Hualian carried Han Li upon a silk scarf magic tool, flying toward a lower ridge of illusory cloud peak. Han Li and Nun Hualian stood within a hidden chamber, piled high with all manner of refinement materials. Before them was a red-faced cultivator at the early foundation establishment stage. His brows tightly furrowed as he scrutinized Han Li from head to toe. "This is Elder Wei Nun Hualian," said calmly, "one of the 2 great tool refinement masters of our 3 royals monastery. For the time being, you will assist Elder Wei and temper your tool refinement skills along the way. Rest assured, we do not intend to train you into a full-fledged tool refinement master. Our monastery lacks the necessary resources for that. It is merely that we are about to refine an important treasure and require additional assistance." She paused, her tone turning solemn. "So long as you perform well over the next 3 years or so, I will reward you with medicinal pills and personally provide guidance in cultivation. Naturally, I will not go back on my word." Han Li said nothing, merely nodding in acknowledgement. Elder Wei snorted irritably. "Fellow Taoist Hualian, does this martial nephew truly understand tool refinement? His cultivation and age are both too low. Didn't you say you went to the Pure Revelations Academy to find a suitable assistant?" Nun Hualian replied with an unhurried smile. "The refinement of this treasure is of utmost importance. It would be best not to involve disciples from other sects. Though martial nephew Han's cultivation and experience are shallow with Elder Wei's guidance, he should have no trouble assisting with material refinement." With no better alternative, Elder Wei said grudgingly, "Even refining materials requires talent, otherwise the materials will be ruined. Still, since fellow Taoist Hualian insists this youngster may remain for now." "Do not worry," Nun Hualian added lightly. "My judgment is not that poor. Despite his low cultivation, his magic power is remarkably pure. At the very least, his control and foundational tool refinement skills will not disappoint." Elder Wei examined Han Li once more, and a trace of astonishment surfaced on his face. So that's how it is. He does possess some potential. It seems you did not bring me a random person after all. Since I have delivered the assistance you require, the refinement process should proceed more smoothly, Noon Hualian said. Compared to the other two monasteries, ours is already lagging behind. We must not delay this great affair any further, lest we be blamed. I will take my leave. Elder Wei saw her off personally and promised rest assured. With this youngster here, matters will not be delayed. Satisfied, Nun Hualian departed, leaving Han Li alone with Elder Wei in the hidden chamber. The moment she left, Elder Wei's tone turned cold. You heard everything just now. Regardless of whether you are truly interested in tool refinement or possess talent, I will instruct you diligently in the Tao of tool refinement for 1 month. After that, I will assign your duties. As long as you complete your monthly assignments, the remainder of your time will be yours to use as you see fit. His gaze sharpened. But if you fail, I will send you away and find someone more suitable for the tool refinement hall. Yes, Han Li replied calmly. This disciple will do his utmost. His attitude clearly pleased Elder Wei. The old man's expression softened slightly as he led Han Li out of the secret chamber. Being a disciple of the Tool Refinement Hall is not without its benefits. Not only do we provide free access to earth-fire chambers and certain magic tools, but our disciples also receive more spirit stones each month than those of other halls. Come, I will introduce you to your fellow disciples. In the future, you will be refining materials alongside them. After meeting the 3 other Qi condensation cultivators, Han Li was assigned a residence as a matter of course. And thus his cultivation life within the Royal Serenity Monastery began. The Tool Refinement Hall was located midway down the mountain. Below the monastery's peak, a secluded courtyard entirely separate from the main compound. There were few structures aside from the Earthfire Hall and several refinement buildings. There was little else to note. The hall's disciples were even required to reside in nearby stone caves. Including Han Li, there were only 4 low-grade tool refinement disciples. 2 middle-aged cultivators at the 8th and 9th layers of Qi condensation served as Elder Wei's assistants. With merely 7 people in total, the hall was more than spacious enough. On a daily basis, male and female disciples of the Royal Serenity Monastery would arrive to rent magic tools or commission refinements. As a female monastery, the vast majority were women, though not all were Taoist nuns. Many young women possessed striking beauty, clearly hailing from wealthy or influential backgrounds. Through quiet observation, Han Li discovered that the other 3 disciples were completely captivated by these female cultivators, despite being worked relentlessly each day. With their cultivation stagnating, they knew the only way to curry favor was through refining magic tools. The few male disciples who passed through were much the same outer disciples tasked with spell formations, pill refinement, and other auxiliary arts. In contrast, the female disciples were wholly devoted to cultivation. Han Li inwardly disapproved of such circumstances, but he had no intention of meddling. The other 3 disciples were mainly responsible for dealing with visitors, while Han Li focused entirely on purifying and refining materials. Each day, Elder Wei spent 2 hours instructing him in tool refinement fundamentals, often providing personal demonstrations. At first, Han Li believed there was little a foundation establishment tool refinement master could teach him. Within days, however, he was proven utterly wrong. Though Elder Wei's cultivation was unremarkable, his attainments in tool refinement were profound. From material purification to intricate refinement techniques, he had clearly studied the secret arts of numerous sects. Some methods were entirely unfamiliar even to Han Li. In merely 10 days, Han Li reaped tremendous benefits. It became clear why the Great Jin was revered as a holy land of cultivation. Even an unassuming Taoist monastery possessed a tool refinement master who had mastered ancient techniques preserved from antiquity as well as innovations developed by successive generations of grandmasters. Compared to this, the crude methods of the heavenly south and the scattered star seas were utterly inferior. It was a truly eye-opening experience. In truth, Han Li's own tool refinement abilities were rather ordinary. The techniques he had inherited from Qi Yunxiao were already insufficient for his current cultivation. Even after acquiring numerous jade slips in the scattered star seas and the drifting cloud sect, very few had proven useful. Now that he had encountered such a rare opportunity, he had no intention of letting it slip away. Aside from cultivating the bright jade arts, Han Li devoted himself wholeheartedly to Elder Wei's teachings. He even posed questions so intricate that the old man was forced to offer detailed explanations, further deepening the instruction. Over the course of the month, Elder Wei's attitude toward Han Li changed drastically. His former coldness gave way to warmth, much to the shock of the other 3 disciples, who were well aware of his temperament. Though they grew envious and treated Han Li coolly, none dared provoke him openly under Elder Wei's protection. Han Li welcomed this outcome. He had always preferred solitude, and the lack of interference allowed him to cultivate in peace. By the end of the month, Elder Wei had taught him not only advanced material purification methods, but also several unique tool refinement techniques, all of which Han Li carefully committed to memory. Inspired, Han Li resolved that once his magic power fully recovered, he would search throughout the Great Jin for further tool refinement techniques. In time, he would refine and strengthen the 7-flame fan and Monarch Soul Divergence's puppet body, elevating their power by an entire tier. At the end of the first month, Han Li received his assigned refinement tasks. None exceeded what his disguised cultivation could handle, and he completed them with ease, devoting the remainder of his time to cultivating the bright jade arts. 4 months passed uneventfully. Han Li grew increasingly certain that entering the royal Serenity Monastery had been the correct decision. During this period, Elder Wei was extremely busy. Aside from issuing monthly assignments, he remained sealed within the Earthfire Hall's secluded chamber. Nun Hualian visited several times, but each time she secluded herself with Elder Wei behind alarm restrictions. Though curious, Han Li chose not to investigate. Risking exposure for idle curiosity was never his way. One day, Han Li sat cross-legged in meditation, his upper body twisted into a strange posture. His hands formed an incantation seal pressed firmly against the mat. A faint golden light enveloped his body, vibrating softly. Upon closer inspection, one would see dense veins bulging beneath his skin, with egg-sized lumps writhing as though alive. Each tremor drew a pained expression across his face. Sweat streamed from his brow, soaking his robes, as if he were subjecting his body to immense strain. Then gradually the golden light faded. Han Li exhaled deeply, released the incantation, and returned to a standard meditative posture. In an instant, the abnormalities vanished, his body returning to normal, as though nothing had occurred. That's all for today's content. See you in the next part. Support me by becoming a member. It will give me more motivation. Thank you so much.